Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with the first live stream for 2023. Back again, hopefully, for another full year. We'll be putting these videos out here on the channel. That, of course, will depend on the viewers. And if you want me to continue, please let me know. But I am planning to keep putting videos out on a regular basis throughout the year. So we will see if there's plenty of content to talk about this year in Spain. Hope everybody has had a fantastic start to the new year. Today being the 1st of January, of course. Hope people didn't get too excited last night. The 31st, fairly subdued where I was here. Some Portuguese people were celebrating, of course, but the weather didn't really go in people's favour last night. Quite windy and not a good night to be out and about, basically, but I've heard that that was not the case in a lot of parts of Spain. So we'll check in the chat section what's going on, and we'll see if we can get a weather update around Spain. We've got Simon coming in from Lanzarote. Simon's got a question we'll have a look at in a minute. Gino's coming in from Javier, loving the sun and the sea, over here from Canada, Gino. Hope you are having a good time. Marianne asks, coming in from a rainy Southern California, similar to what we've got here, Marianne, at the moment. Feliz Año, says Marianne. Obviously been able to get that little ñ over the end there, which is important, as we know. Thanks for that, Marianne. Otherwise, it can mean something completely different if you've got a Feliz Año. Jay coming in from Peníscola in Castellón. Julian coming in from, not sure where this is, maybe the UK. Well, I say warmer in the UK, says Julian today. And Jay, hot on the Mediterranean this afternoon, 20 degrees Celsius. Yes, as I have heard, Jay, the weather in the Mediterranean parts of Spain, very good at the moment. Not sure whether it's going to last, if there's a cold snap coming or not. But Christmas and New Year's, fantastic weather down there. Now, we'll get into the news today. We'll have a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention. Not a great news day, of course. Lots of people on holidays. Lots of people relaxing today after a big night last night. We'll have a look at a few comments that were left on videos previously too. So the first piece of news, this one here, and as we know, we've got a new VAT rebate in Spain on foodstuffs, basic foodstuffs, and it came into force today. And fuel discounts, which were in place for the last 6-7 months or so, are now limited. The reduction from 4% to 0% VAT on basic foodstuffs and the reduction from 10 to 5% VAT on oils and pasta came into force this Sunday with the arrival of 2023. The 20-cent discount on petrol and diesel is also limited to hauliers, farmers, fishermen and shipping companies. The reductions, which will affect bread, milk, flour, eggs, pulses, cereal, fruit, vegetable, oils and pasta will be in force until the 30th of June. However, they may be reversed from the 1st of May 2023 if the year-on-year rate of core inflation in March is below 5.5%. So, good news for many people here that they're going to be able to get a reduction on the cost of their shopping basket, especially when it comes to these food products that we see here: bread, flour, milk, eggs, pulses, cereals, fruit and veg, things like that, and also pasta and olive oil, which, as we know, olive oil very expensive at the moment in Spain. In fact, I've never seen it as expensive as it is at the moment in the 24 years or so that I have been living in that country. So high prices at the moment, and hopefully the government thinks that this will reduce well, obviously it's going to reduce prices by that 4% and 5%, but they're hoping to get something else out of it as well. Considering that we are in an election year now, 2023, municipal elections coming up, I think in May. We've also got autonomous community elections in some autonomous communities. Andalusia had one last year, so I don't think they'll have another one this year. And general elections, national Spanish elections, I think in December 2023. So at the end of the year, we've got that to look forward to. Now, we're up to 35 likes, so I'll just put the little like icon on the screen here. If you haven't hit it yet, please do so just below the video, and we'll see if we can get up to a decent tally of likes today. Now, Simon put a question out before, and I'll just put it on the screen so we can get an answer for him. Can he get Spanish health insurance without being a resident? I am an Irish EU national. Now, the idea, Simon, for the national Spanish health insurance system, or what they call here the Seguridad Social, I think, almost impossible if you're not a full-time resident in Spain and paying into the system. There are some places around the country where you can join that system and pay a monthly fee. I'm not sure if that's in all the autonomous communities or whether that has been scrapped. But for a lot of people that come into the country, if they're not working, Simon, they need to get private health insurance. I don't think you can just jump onto the national health insurance in Spain without being a resident and paying into the system, basically. That's what I would say. But again, if anybody in the chat section has a better idea about that, please let Simon know. But I don't think so. You have to be contributing to the system in order to take something out of it, unless you are a Spanish citizen, and then that's a different kettle of fish, of course. It's universal for all Spanish people. Now, emergency services, that is. All right, let's get into some more chats here. Andrew coming in from southeast London. Miserable and damp and windy there, similar to what we've got here. Maybe you can see a bit of rain on the window here, as it has been lashing down all day. What else we got going on here? Jay asking the question, how long have I been in Spain? Well, I just answered that, Jay, 24 years. Jan coming in as well from London. Miguel coming in from the UK as well, I believe, unless he's back in Spain. Elaine coming in from Chatham, New Jersey, 12 degrees Celsius there. So the weather's picked up a bit there, Elaine. Good to see. And Jan asking the question, did I eat the 12 grapes? The answer is no, I don't eat 12 grapes because I don't like I'm not really into that tradition. I think you have to have been born in the country and grown up with it all of your life to follow that tradition. I'm sure some people do in order to keep their partners happy, but it's not my case. And I don't really feel like eating 12 grapes at 12 midnight on the 31st, but a lot of people do have, and yesterday we spent about 20 minutes driving around trying to find grapes for my partner and my son. So Spanish tradition, but I'm not really into it, Jan. Thanks for that. All right, second piece of news, this one here. First passengers from China to undergo COVID checks land in Madrid. With an hour and a half delay, the passengers of the first flight from China landed in Madrid at 7:45 on Saturday, after Spain implemented health controls for these travellers who had their documents checked and their temperatures taken. Since Saturday, Spain has implemented health control measures for passengers arriving from flights originating in China who are subjected to a visual and temperature check and a diagnostic test for active SARS-CoV-2 infection, although the people interviewed explained that they only had their temperature taken. So there we go. China, people coming from China, I should say, now undergoing COVID checks, because as we know in China, the COVID situation is well and truly out of control. And I think other European countries have also done something similar. I saw that Australia announced something similar today. I think the UK has also announced something similar. So trying to get on top of this before it goes rampant. But a few people have mentioned in the comment section that nothing to be worried about if you are vaccinated, of course. But the situation in China, whatever's going on there, I have no idea. Probably didn't have an effective vaccine. I would say that would be part of the problem. And of course, the huge population that country has, and China running rampant as well. But I checked some COVID data just out of curiosity, and apparently during the whole pandemic in China, officially, there's only been 5,000 deaths. So believe that if you will. All right, good. Now we'll move on to the chat section again. Elaine saying that she had grapes. Thanks for that, Elaine. I know a lot of people do have grapes. Marga coming in from El Campello, I think. What else we got going on here? People asking about the dresses on the campanadas, and last night when they do the countdown on Spanish television, Antena 3, all of the channels have a countdown, I think, Telecinco, La Sexta, and of course the most viewed campanadas, Antena 3, because people like to see what the hosts are wearing, especially Cristina Pedroche, which is what we have here in this question here. Pretty strange dress she had on, something to do with peace, I think. considering there was some type of a dove across her chest. But you can check that out in Spanish press today, what that dress was like. Barbara coming in also here from the Playa Flamenca. Buenas noches and Happy New Year to all. Janet also saying that as well. Miguel saying that Pedroche's dress was quite skimpy, to say the least. Yes, it was skimpy. Not much on underneath, but apparently she's pregnant. I think she was. I think she had a bit of a pregnant stomach yesterday. In the well, that's what I was told. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but she did look a little bit pregnant, I think, and I think that also influenced the dress that she had on. But yeah, famous for not wearing much on Christmas Eve, even though it can be quite chilly in the Puerta del Sol. All right, what else we got going on here? The Paloma top was weird, exactly. Feliz Año Amiaus USA. Chris, continue, mate. You're pretty much my only source of Spanish news. Thanks for that, Chris. I will continue, I think. It gets a bit tough sometimes to put videos out on such a regular basis. Might, cut back a little bit, but I'll see how I go throughout the year. Roland coming in from Minneapolis, all the best. And Venture Elliott coming in, planning to explore northeast Portugal and make videos there. It's the most remote part of the country and the underrated regions or pueblos worth showing, says Adventure Elliott. I'm sure plenty of people will let you know, Elliot, but there are lots of places in that part of the country, very remote, especially if you get up near that Galician border or even the border with Zamora there on the border in Castilla y León, very remote part of Portugal. So enjoy your travels, Adventure Elliot. Richard coming in from San Javier, Makish, saying, oh dear, not sure if something's happened there, Makish. Erica coming in from Terrassa, and Mel coming in from a wet Cumbria Lake District up there in the north of England. All right, next piece of news, this one here. 45.8% of Spaniards believe that Spain's economic situation will get worse in 2023. 2023 is here, but Spaniards' perception of the economic situation remains unchanged. Last year's price and energy hikes as a result of the war in Ukraine have put many Spaniards in dire straits, with many complaining on the street that they have hardly any margin for savings. For the coming year, Spaniards do not expect an improvement. 45.8% of those surveyed think that the Spanish economy will get worse in 2023. 34.3% think that it will stay the same, and 15.8% think it will improve. The latest Sigma DOS survey for Antena 3 Noticias thus confirms the pessimistic trend that has been maintained during 2022. 53.8% of Spaniards believe that the current outlook for the Spanish economy is bad or very bad, while 31.2% consider it to be neither good nor bad. Only 13.8% of Spaniards are more optimistic and believe that the economic situation is good or very good. So there we go, 45.8% of the population in Spain not optimistic about 2023 when it comes to the economy. Hardly any margin for savings. And that's always been one of the big problems of living and working in Spain. The capacity to save money. Very, very difficult given the salaries that are on offer for many, many people. That's why the government takes such a big chunk out of your salary every month to put it towards your pension, I think, rather than allow people to save for themselves. Now, I'll put the like icon back on the screen again. If you haven't hit it, please do so just below, and we'll see if we can get up to a decent tally of likes today. Let us know what your outlook for the, or what you think the economy in Spain is going to be like in 2023, whether you are one of the more pessimistic or one of the smaller group of optimistic people there. I think it was around 14% think that the economy is going to be okay. I'm not sure. According to the next article, some people think that Spain is going to do better than other European countries when it comes to the economy. But we'll see, because there are still certain dark clouds hanging over many economies in the world, given the circumstances, of course, as we know. But anyway, I tend to be glass more half full than half empty when it comes to certain things. But when it comes to the economy, sometimes it's the other way around. But this glass of water that I've got here, I would say that's more half full than half empty. So that's the way I'm going to look at 2023 personally. Now, this piece of news here, according to eldiario.es, which is basically the government mouthpiece, Spain's economy will lead Eurozone growth in 2023. Spain will avoid recession in 2023 and will lead the pace of growth among developed economies, having already done so in 2022. The most optimistic forecast, that of the government, points to an increase in activity of 2.1% next year. This rate would quadruple that of the Eurozone as a whole in a context of high uncertainty due to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The Bank of Spain's more cautious estimate of 1.3%, and more in line with the average of national and foreign institutions, also rules out a contraction of GDP and exceeds those of the other major economies. On all assumptions, Spain will complete the recovery after the historic COVID shock. Because remember that Spain's economy has still not recovered to pre-COVID figures, basically. But hopefully in 2023, we will crack those figures again. And as we can see here, the government optimistic 2.1, but Bank of Spain more cautious 1.3. So probably somewhere in the middle between those two figures there, I would say. So we'll see. But as I said, that newspaper there, going with that headline today, the only headline of its type in the Spanish press. But as we know, that newspaper quite in favour of the current government that we have, the coalition government. Now, what else is going on here in the chat section? Tobias is in the chat section, about to go out and eat with the family, but wishing everyone a Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, Tobias there. Andres coming in from Pasadena, California, 13 degrees Celsius and sun shining there. Dawn coming in from Madrid. Happy New Year to everyone too. What is a pulse related to food, says Elaine? Pulse, lentils and things like that. Elaine is a pulse, I believe. But again, if anybody has a better definition, please let Elaine know in the chat section. But lentils and foods like that, I think, are classified as pulses. All right, what else we got going on here? Miguel saying that apparently the pension age in Spain has gone up to 66 years and 4 months from today. I think that's true, Miguel. I think next year it's going to go up again and again the year after and again and again and again and again until basically we're retiring when we're around probably 75 or 80 years of age, I would say. But you are right, it is gone up. And also pensioners have just got a huge increase to their pensions, well, in line with inflation, of course, but around 8.5% increase to Spanish pensions, taking the top pension over the €3,000 mark for the first time. Maga confirming that pulses are beans and peas, etc. Yeah, exactly right. I think they use the word more in British English, Elaine, than in American English, I think, but I could be wrong. But it is one of those words that does pop up from time to time. And Spain is a big pulse-eating country. Beans and lentils and things like that core to a lot of Spanish classical dishes. All right, what else we got going on here? Yep, the beans and things being pointed out there. Good. Remy coming in from a chilly Sant Feliu there in Catalonia. What else we got going on here? Simon saying thanks for the answer. I think I'm correct along those lines, Simon, but again, don't quote me on that. But I think that is the case, that you can't just hook up to the system if you don't pay into it. Yeah, Elaine's saying that it must be a British term. Never heard it in the USA. I think that's right. I think it's more used in British English than it is in American English. All right, what else we got going on here? Andre's saying that glad that my cold sounds better. Yeah, cold, 50-50, Andres, at the moment, I would say. Especially when I go to bed at night, wake up in the morning, always a little bit congested, of course, but then that clears through the day. But the other day, it was worse than it is at the moment. But on the mend, Andres. But thanks for asking. Brian coming in from La Marina. Plenty of fireworks there last night, which terrified the little dog. Still some being let off again tonight. Oranges are pricey down here, especially as many trees are full. Interesting. Coming into the orange and mandarin season, I think, Brian, when the supermarkets certainly stock up on those two fruits. But pricey, not sure. I think in Portugal the other day, even though it's not the orange season, I don't think, it was around €3 for 2 kilos. And in Madrid, I've seen 4 kilos for around $4.50. So I'm not sure whether that's going to change as we come more into the season. But with regard to fireworks, Brian, yes, fireworks were going off here too last night. And little Mia over there was under the bed, trying to stay safe because, as we know, dogs do get terrified by firecrackers and fireworks. What else we got going on here? J-Op coming in from Wisconsin. No estoy muy católico hoy. Okay, not very Catholic today is J-Op. What else we got going on here? Private insurance, says Simon. Probably the best way to go, Simon. It's not expensive, private health insurance. You can pick it up for around, depending on your age and things like that. But I picked up private health insurance recently for, I think, €51 a month, I think, which seems reasonable. 51 a month. I haven't used it yet, but I plan to in 2023. Margaret Jean also coming in, saying that they love the insights and information. It's an invaluable and very interesting and always very knowledgeable person who puts the information on Spain in a very palatable and clear and concise way. Thank you very much for that, Margaret. With comments like that, I'm inspired to continue. Thanks for that. Now, we'll go into the first comment of the day that was left on the video recently. Feliz año. I really enjoy your updates and Menú del Día episodes. Yeah, feliz año. Now, I want to say this to everybody. This is why I put this comment up here. So I want to wish everybody a happy new year and a fantastic 2023. And just to let you know, when it comes to content, there is a bit of a doubt whether I will continue to do as many videos, but I am looking to diversify the content. So content like that, Menú del Día videos, more travel videos if I can get out and about. Maybe take a step back from so many news videos, but we'll see as the year goes by because they do wear me down, the news videos. I'm going to be honest, they wear me down, especially with such negativity in the news all the time. It does get a bit depressing, but I'll push on, and hopefully get more diverse content onto the channel as well. But thanks for that. All right, back into the chat section here. Joe El Bombero, wishing everyone a feliz año nuevo also. What else we got going on here? Janet also saying that dog terrified by the fireworks. Yes, Janet, that is true. Miguel wondering why I don't eat 12 grapes. My wife and daughter eat 12 every year. We always celebrate the Spanish and British New Year. Just because I'm not really a grape fan, Miguel, unless it's in a bottle. But last night we celebrated the Spanish New Year's at 11 p.m. here in Portugal, simply because I was too tired to continue to 12 o'clock Portuguese time. So basically I went to bed around 11:20 because I was absolutely knackered, as they say. But I'm not a huge grape fan, and I don't like stuffing 12 grapes in my mouth. I've done it in the past, but it was an experience that I didn't enjoy, and I haven't done it for a few years. But I understand that it is a tradition for many people. Don't know where it originated from, that tradition. It seems like a strange tradition, but not sure whether they do it in other countries. I think somebody told me maybe in Italy they do it, not sure. But anyway, Joe, the Bombetto, saying, keep up the great work. Thanks for that, Joe. Pessimistic trend continues, says Jose Antonio. Absolutely. Jose Antonio maybe is one of the 45.7% pessimistic about 2023. Not sure. Let us know, Jose Antonio. What else got going on here? David drank 12 bottles of wine. Yeah, don't think that counts, David, but you've certainly got your grape intake taken care of with those 12 bottles. Now, another comment that was left on the videos recently. This one here from Miguel. Almeida, the mayor of Madrid, argues that he has adopted and expanded the ZBE, the low emissions area, following the directives of the EU, not the directives of most of his voters, says Miguel. And I think that is true, Miguel. We're going to wait and see what happens regarding the Madrid ZBE zones this year, because they have been extended out. Previously, it was only a very central area of Madrid city. If you know Madrid, it was around the Gran Via area, around the Puerta del Sol, that area there, Malasaña. I think also Chueca was the ZBE area, but that's been extended out now and to the whole of the M30 ring. So anywhere inside that M30 is now a ZBE, which means that if you don't have an environmental sticker, you can't drive into that area at all. And if I think even older diesel cars are also are limited when it comes to driving into those areas. And as we know, it's been quite a controversial topic. Lots of people in defense of older vehicles saying, why are these things happening? Well, I think Madrid and Barcelona, as we saw the other day, have very bad air quality, especially in the winter months. And in the past, they brought in restrictions to ban cars on certain days coming in at all, trying to get that air quality better. Very difficult thing to do, and they think that this is going to be the solution. And again, if you've got a certain type of car, for example, an electric car, if you've got a hybrid car, there's no problem. You can drive wherever you want. But if your car's a little bit older and falls out of favour with government regulations, you can't drive it, basically. And that's going to be a problem for a lot of people in 2023 as more of these ZBE areas are extended throughout the country in cities with 50,000 inhabitants or more. Can't remember the exact amount of cities, but I think there was quite a few cities, quite a large number of cities, I should say, in Spain that are going to they're forced to adapt these ZBE regulations in 2023. Now, every local council can decide what their ZBE is going to be. So they can maybe just have 2 streets in the centre if they want, or they can bring in the whole of the central area like they've done in Madrid. So it all depends on the local council, but they're being funded by the European Union, so money's being thrown at these local councils to make the necessary changes. But it's going to be a difficult year for a lot of car owners in Spain, no doubt. Back into the chat section, let's see what's going on here. 12 seconds, absolutely. 12 grapes in 12 seconds. That's one of my problems, Miguel, trying to stuff 12 grapes into your mouth in 12 seconds. What else we got going on here? How's the housing market looking, says Joe. Not sure, Joe. We'll have a check on that throughout the next month or so, no doubt. What else we got going on here? Miguel says that he thought Spain grew by over 5% in 2022. I think it did, Miguel, grow by 5% in 2022. But, yeah, a lot of people, when they're pessimistic about high inflation, costs, savings being eroded away and things like that, not getting salary increases, I think that's why people are pessimistic rather than the 5% growth, which, as we know, is still trying to catch up, as I said, to those pre-COVID figures or 2019 figures, and that's the issue. So a little way to go yet. All right, what else we got going on here? Let's have a look. If I can find something here. Got a super chat from Yogi, 79 pence. Thank you very much for that, Yogi. What else we got going on here? Any news about the digital nomad visa, says Yogi. Well, yes, you are in luck, Yogi. On the 22nd of December, the Spanish Parliament passed this law, I believe, and it's coming into effect this month also, I think. Portugal has already something similar in place, and according to people that I've spoken to, or people that have left comments on the channel, the Portuguese one is a lot more attractive from a tax point of view. But that's just what I've read. Don't quote me on that. You have to do your own research. But the Spanish one, yeah, 2023, it will be up and running. Not sure whether it is as of today, because I don't think it's been published in the State Gazette, the Boletín Oficial yet. But it will be soon, and more details will come to light, Yogi. So thanks for that. All right, what else you got going on here? Let's have a look. Someone talking about Foster's beer. Don't think any Australian has ever drunk Foster's beer, Yusuf, if that answers the question. I think Remy's already answered the question there, given that they're from Australia. Foster's is an international beer, Yusuf. Nobody, as I said, I've never seen anybody drink it in Australia. I've seen people drink it in England. I've seen people drink it in other countries, but I've never seen anybody drink it in Australia. Another similar beer, Victoria Bitter, is very popular, made by the same people, Carlton and United Breweries, or at least it was back in the day. Not sure anymore, but yeah, you won't see too many Aussies drinking Fosters. But anyway, thanks for that. Let us know what beer you like. If you've got a favourite Australian beer, let us know. I saw the other day they published a survey that the most popular Australian beers are a beer called Great Northern. So there we go. If you've tried Great Northern, let us know. All right, good. Now, back into the chat section here quickly. I'll just put the little icon up, this little like icon back on the screen. If you haven't hit it yet, please do so, just below the video. And we're over 100 likes now, so we'll see if we can get up to 110, 120 likes today. We will see. All right, another comment. Let's have a look. This one here from DJ. DJ O. Hi, Stuart. Great videos. My personal observation of Spanish motorists is that they will run a car until the day it completely dies and is unrecoverable. They see the car as a tool and nothing else. There seems to be no status involved with the car's age, and buying a new one is just wasteful, which is why second-hand cars are so expensive in Spain compared to the UK. Yeah, I had a few people say that second-hand cars in Spain are expensive compared to other countries. This could be one of the reasons. I think we saw the other day that second-hand car sales are up because of problems people are having getting new ones because of chip shortages and things like that. But you could be right here. Spain doesn't really have a classic car. Well, you can find classic cars, don't get me wrong. Every now and again you'll see maybe a village somewhere in the Madrid mountains where they have classic cars on display. You might see a few driving around every now and again, but there's not a classic car mentality like there would be in the United States, in the UK, for example, where people do treasure these old vehicles, they restore them, do them up and things like that. Or even in the States, that's also quite popular. In Australia, it's popular as well. People will buy an old car and do it up and make it look brand new. In Spain, I don't really see that happening. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen, because I'm sure that it does, but it doesn't seem to be as popular as it is in some other places. I've got a friend who's a classic Vespa freak. He buys old Vespas and does them up, Spanish guy. But and he's got a few friends that do something similar. But when it comes to cars, not really. And I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure why it is. But maybe it's got something to do with just the way people think about cars. As we saw in that comment, it could be the case. Let us know your opinion on what DJ O has said here when it comes to second-hand cars in Spain. But a lot of people, do tend to run the cars into the ground. And I personally, I don't know whether I would buy a second-hand car in Spain. That's just me. But I don't know whether I would, considering the way that I have seen some people driving them around. But each person can do whatever they want when it comes to buying a new vehicle. But I would think twice before buying a second-hand car. But that's just me. All right, good. Let us know what you think. What else we got going on here? Andres, $10 super chat here from Andres. Thank you very much for that, Andres. We had one before from Yogi, I think. Another one here. Thank you very much for that. Greatly appreciated. Great way to start the year. Remember that one of the things that does keep me going are user contributions and donations, and these things do help because you don't make much money off YouTube, I can tell you that. All right, good. What else got going on here? Osuaka there, Jay. Stu, am I a wine fan? Asked Jade. What do I prefer, Rioja or Ribera? For me, less expensive. Ribera is much better. Yeah, well, I like both, to be honest, Jay. If I go to a bar or a restaurant, I normally ask for Ribera del Duero because I like a stronger wine or with a fuller body, I think. But I do like both, to be honest. We had a nice one last night with our New Year's Eve dinner, a nice Gran Reserva, which was in my partner's Christmas hamper or Christmas box that I did a video about a few weeks ago. So we cracked that one open last night, and it was not a bad wine. Not a bad wine. Not sure what the retail cost would be, but it went down quite well. But it also knocked me out by 11:20. That could have been one of the reasons why I went to bed so early. But I am a bit of a wine fan, Jay, and I'd like to bring some wine content into the channel as well, but I'm not an expert. That's my problem when it comes to wine. I like to drink it, but I'm not an expert. All right, what else we got going on here? Welsh Toto's in the chat. Hello, Welsh Toto. Hope you are well. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Tax on the poor, says Yusuf. When it comes to the ZBE, yeah, a lot of people have that opinion. What else we got going on here? More people wishing Happy New Year. Mix coming in from Moreira. Great Northern and Forex are the ones. Yeah, Forex, I'll give that an absolute miss, Remy. You have to be from Queensland to enjoy that beer. It's one of the worst beers that I've ever tried personally. Great Northern, yeah, I've had a couple. It's not bad. But I tend to go for more of the craft beers nowadays when I'm down in Australia, or some of the old classics that my grandfather used to drink. For example, Emu Bitter. Anybody from Western Australia will know that beer. Emu Export, no, but Emu Bitter, definitely. All right, what else we got going on here? Foster's Lager's made in Maidstone, Kent. There we go. It's not even made in in Australia. John saying Swan beers in Oz. Yeah, Western Australia are the Swan beers, John, historically. Not anymore, I don't think. Maybe you can get a few Swan beers there still. Swan Lager maybe still exists. Not sure. Emu Export, Emu Bitter, and a few other beers like that, which were the beers of my youth. But you're right, Swan beers from Western Australia. Historically, all of the different states in Australia had different beers. So in Western Australia, we had Swan beers. In Victoria, they had Carlton United. New South Wales, Tooheys was a big beer. Castlemaine Forex up in Queensland. West End in South Australia. So different beers in different states, but that's all changed now. A lot of craft beers there at the moment in Australia. All right, another comment. Let's have a look. Get one up on the screen here from PM. Hi, Stu. Happy New Year to you and your family. I have a curiosity question. I wonder why you prefer the cold Atlantic Ocean to the warm Mediterranean in the Costa del Sol. Is it a matter of cost? Yeah, not necessarily a matter of cost, PM, because it's not cheap here anymore. It was cheaper a few years ago to buy property, but prices have gone up. Cost of living a little bit cheaper than it is in Spain, but the reason I come here, and we'll see in this next comment the reason why, and you know, the rough weather, cold, rainy and windy, it makes you feel alive, and that's one of the reasons I prefer to come to this part of the Iberian Peninsula at this time of the year, because you feel the wind in your face. And something when you come from Western Australia or Perth like I do, which is a coastal city, you know, it's a windy city in summer, you get those winter storms as well. That's the weather that we get here as well in Portugal. So you do feel the wind in your face. You do, you know, feel the rain and things like that. And you don't get that climate that you get in the Mediterranean areas, maybe not when a storm comes through, but on other days where it's just very, there's no wind, there's nothing happening. It's a very, what's the word? It's an environment where there's not much action, let's say. The Mediterranean sits there and like nice and calm, fantastic if you want to sit there and have a beer on a nice day. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy it, but I like to feel that that wind, and I like to watch those storms come through. And when it comes to taking photographs, I love the scenery around this part of Portugal as well, and the contrast that you get when the light peaks between the clouds and things like that. That's one of the reasons why I also enjoy this part of Portugal. And the waves as well. You don't get the waves on the Mediterranean like you do here with the open Atlantic Ocean. You know, waves, if you want to go for a swim or a surf in the ocean, it does make you feel alive. So that's one of the reasons why. One of the reasons why I come here. Nothing to do with cost. We used to go to Malaga quite a lot. My partner's parents had a house in a place called Rincón de la Victoria. So we used to go there for Easters and Christmases and summertime. But I got a bit sick of it. You know, very crowded in summer, and the weather was extremely hot one year. And that was the last time I ever went to that part of Spain. But don't get me wrong, I enjoy it every now and again. As a bit of a break. The weather's fantastic, as we know, but here in Portugal, feeling that wind in my face, I do enjoy it. All right, now we're up to 39 minutes, 1 or 2 minutes more. Welsh Toto saying that second-hand cars became expensive due to chip and part shortages. True, that is true. In Spain, that was the case, probably in other places around the world as well. Yusuf saying here, thanks for the info on Foster's Lager. My favourite beer is a Belgian one called Duvel. Runner-up, West Marley Triple, also a Belgian beer. Yeah, Belgian beers are quite popular and quite tasty, as we know. What else we got going on here? Great Northern is very big in cans. Very nice drop. Much more popular than 4X and Victoria Bitter. Thanks, Mel. Yeah, 4X is not for me. I've never gotten used to that taste. Great Northern, I think, is it might be a Queensland beer, but it's available countrywide, I think. Thanks for that, Mel. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Brian saying here, I and many others look forward to your videos and live streams and watching your excellent topics. Never miss 1 in 2 years. Thanks for that, Brian. I do appreciate your support. Thanks for that. What else we got going on here? Jose Antonio about wine. What else we got going on here? Plenty of activity. I'll just stream through and see if I can find something here quickly. Elena coming in saying that when she lived in Madrid, she drank Mao beer. Yeah, Mao, very popular in Madrid, Elena, and other parts of the country as well. It is a nice drop on a hot day, especially. But I wouldn't rank it in my top beers, I don't think. I don't think it would be in my tops. But as I said, very popular in Madrid at least. All right, good. Now we're up to 41 minutes. I'm going to wrap the live stream up. Thank you very much for your participation today, watching the video. Thank you very much for participation in the chat section. Thanks to the 2 super chats that we got. Very generous, and it helps to keep the channel going, as you guys know. So I appreciate that. I'll be back again on Tuesday with another live stream. So stay tuned for that one. Possibly another video out tomorrow. It depends on the weather and whether I can get out and about. So hopefully it will be the weather will be okay, and I will be able to record without too many dramas. But again, I wish everybody a happy new year and a great start 2023. And hopefully I'll get plenty of content out over the next year or so. But again, you never know what could happen. But hopefully I'll get plenty out. So thank you very much, and hasta luego, see you later.